Wow, we made it. We are here. We have made it. We are live. Wait a minute. Let's bust out a 1970s hit. Looks like we made it. Looks like he made it too.
Wait. I gotta get my
microphone. Yeah, good. Get that microphone up. Yeah. I'm fixing the hair. I gotta get the hair fixed.
At least I have hair.
So, oh, God, that was right below the belt.
Oh, you all right?
Yeah. Oh, you hit me right square.
It was a little low. Sorry.
I love it. I love it. Please do keep punching me. It makes me tough. What doesn't kill me makes me strong.
I got to be careful when I say stuff like that because look,
I know it's happened.
This is not getting any better.
No, it's not. I've watched it fall. I even mentioned it along like when we first started streaming, and you were like, you had this debonair haircut, and I was like, and I said something. I was like, hey, better love it while you can because I see it go. And you're like, it's gonna be all right. What's up, Diego? What's up, Carrie? How you doing? Good morning. General Motors to you, Miss Carrie. When I see GM, I think I was funny because Lauren, this chick on Twitter, mentioned that she was like, and I thought the same thing, and I said it in a comment, and I'm pretty sure she just thought I was just. But when I see somebody say GM, I go General Motors, and so. Jacqueline Edwards, what's going on? Got here. Good to see everyone. Yeah. Good stuff. Yes, good stuff. So, how's things going?
I know that's our default.
It's biggest.
It's okay.
I know that's our default. That's our, hey, how you doing? How's it going? That, and man, whenever I hear that, I just want to talk and talk and talk and talk. But I know it's just, the polite greeting. Things are going well. There's my answer.
Well, we don't see each other very often. And a lot of times, believe it or not, there are people out there that are concerned about our well-being and what's going on in the background.
Yep.
And as you can see, both of us are getting bolder. But bolder and bolder. We're just getting it done, guys. With and funny thing is like I love having crippled things in my life. There's a reason why you can embrace that. Because whenever you're going bald, you can look at other bald people and go, when are you going to shave that one hair off? It's so much fun because they want to turn around and say something. They're like, look, I could say it. It's kind of like when you're short. You can pick on the short people.
That's your world. I would never.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, AC Cruz, what's going on? All right. Jack Hole, what's happening? We got some stuff to talk about. I'll get us up in here. Check us out here.
Oh,
yeah. Man. So I'm gonna trigger you real quick first before we even get into the political stuff. Since you were just getting off Bible every morning, I want to trigger you right quick, and I want your opinion on this.
When God gave us the Torah, the Gentiles were jealous of us. They feel that we think we're elitist. We think we're the chosen people, which, by the way, we are. We do think we're elitist. We are the chosen people. They think that we think only we are the children of God, and we do think that, and we're not embarrassed to say. Only the Jewish people are the children of God. The nations of the world are not the children of God. They're not God's children. They're God's creations. They're created with Tselem Elohim. They're not God's children. And this creates a certain jealousy, and they don't like that. In other words, there's an ethnical reason. They feel that we are elitist. We think of ourselves as better than them, which we do. And therefore, they hate us. What can we do? God selected us,
Yeah. Huh?
You want to respond?
Do the best you can without getting a strike on that.
Oh, yeah, no strike. So, I don't know who that is, but the problem is, if he were sitting there and said that to me, is yes. The people of Israel were chosen by God. For what? They were chosen to bring the Messiah, right? The Messiah, God incarnate. That's the whole of the Jewish religion, is to make way that through their lineage, their seed, the Messiah of all humankind would come. And he has come. So you Jewish people who have been chosen, that purpose for which you had been chosen happened. past tense. You are no longer chosen. You've already brought the Messiah and killed him and rejected him. So, yes, chosen, your arc of history and God's special place for you has been completed. It's done. And now he's choosing a new Israel. And that's literally all of those prophecies in the Old Testament that talk about Israel in the future are talking about Christendom, Christianity, the true Israel. That's what the scripture says, true Israel, as opposed to ethnic Israel.
Yeah, not the
Israel.
one that the Rothschilds installed. That's a whole different thing.
Right.
So
he can be arrogant all he wants, but the Jewish religion can't exist anymore.
What's funny is it's like
without a temple.
Anyway. He actually, and what's ironic enough is because your response is definitely true, but here would be his mindset to that response. And it's funny because this is so when he obviously has been headed off with this answer before. So here you go.
Yeah, good. God selected us. So these are the two reasons for anti-Semitism. One is what Rashi says. Rashi says, Amar Rav Shimon Echai, Halacha hi v'yadua, se'esav soinei liYaakov. That what's the reason for it? There's no reason. It's just it is.
It just is.
God. The reason for anti-Semitism, according to Rashi, is that it's just a law. It's a law of nature. There's gravity, and there's the theory of relativity, and then there's anti-Semitism. And then on the other hand, you have this Gemara in Shabbos that the Gentiles hate us for. They feel that we think of ourselves as better.
So in other words, I'm not arguing with your answer at all. It's totally legitimate, and you're right 100%. But this is the mindset, and with that mindset, it's very, very hard to actually make a point with a person that way because of the fact that this is just when they don't have a definitive answer. They say, well, it just is. It just is. Mm-hmm. The thing about it is like there are a majority of that. There's a majority of that going on amongst those group of people with a lot of money and a lot of power and a lot of pull. With that mindset is very, very dangerous to the human race in itself, because not only did they kill Jesus, but they're after us as well, be under the same premise in sort of a sense. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, we're going to talk about politics now. I love to make us laugh. We're going to talk politics, but we're going to laugh too on the top of that.
Lived through his presidency. They've heard these arguments about.
Here's Mad Maxine Waters real quick. Check this out. Here we go. Here, she got that. I just did a video yesterday talking about the James Brown wig and where she got it at, and I somehow or another managed to work in a Buc-ee's where you go get gas and a whole bunch of stuff. Anyways,
they've seen President Biden. They've lived through his presidency. They've also seen former President Trump. They've lived through his presidency. They've heard these arguments about democracy, about the fate of the election, and yet Trump is not only winning, but winning increasingly by a larger margin. So what is the plan among Democrats to change that trajectory? It sounds like you're talking about saying and doing all the same things, but do you believe that something needs to change?
I think we need to keep working.
Keep working at that wig. she having some hair problems like we are. Maxine Waters, we feel your pain. We feel your pain. I just wanted to bring that out because we like to laugh. We like to laugh.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Jack,
yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I actually could not focus on what the other person was saying. While I just Maxine,
and she couldn't either because Maxine. She wasn't listening to anything either, because whenever she asked the question, it was over. Maxine was heard like the last little bit of it was like shnikes. I didn't hear anything. She was too busy wading through they just went like, Maxine Waters, you're on stage. Boom. All right. She's like,
we just need to keep working. That's what she said. Literally. That was her answer.
Oh, that's good stuff, man. I tell you, that was just golden. Like, I just love whenever like the left just fails epically just that way, because it's just fun to watch. But anyway, so that's good stuff, good content, good. Maxine Waters always providing entertainment, because I said something to the aspect of Joy Reid having a wig on my last stream I did yesterday, and I said Joy Reid should have asked Maxine Waters where she gets her wigs from. And I responded with Maxine Waters' response would have been, at a gasoline station. Because everybody's seen the one where she talks about going after the who says gasoline station? It's like, yeah, I'll be there in a minute. I got to go by and I'm going by a gasoline station first. Nobody says that.
You know who says that? You know who says that? Someone who hasn't actually filled her own car with gasoline in decades.
Yeah, totally.
And not
true.
because she's driving an electric car, but because she has someone doing it for her.
Yeah.
So I got some questions, but
I mean, ask me questions. I'm gonna be Radio Shack and have answers.
Well, so the polls, like, you know, it's hard. We could not have predicted things going the way they've gone in the past 12, 13 days now since the debate, right? You know, we suspected it was not going to go well or that it was going to be revelatory, but we couldn't have possibly suspected the Democrat Party and the mainstream media dividing so down the middle, so that people who've been carrying water for the narrative that keeps getting spun, people who've been carrying water, the mainstream media, that so many of them would turn so quickly. And it's this upheaval in the Democrat Party. Like the spin has been exposed. You know, Biden has mental health issues, right? He is sunsetting. He's not fit for office, and he wasn't probably fit for office 3.5 years ago when he was installed, etc. So that the veil has come off somewhat. Now they're trying to force the veil back down, right? They're like, wait, we need to unite. This is worse for us to see us divided like this. Half the Democrats want Biden out, half of them want him to stay, and they have to draw a line, and they're trying to draw a line, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And so with that scenario, the polls, more and more people polled, it's widening, right? Trump leading by 6 nationally is unheard of. Any Republican ever leading by any nationally is virtually unheard of. It hasn't happened since George Bush. You know, he's the last one to lead in the national polls. That's like 25 years ago.
Boy, if people only knew, like, we had social media back then, independent content creators and people digging into the deep dives of the Bush administration and bringing out stuff that would have been a totally different scenario. Ross Perot might have had a chance.
Right. So we have the polls going in this direction, and the optimism is that the gravitation of independent voters to the Trump camp or the Republican camp will be too big for rigging, right? Too big to rig, right? That'll be too big of a disparity.
Yeah.
However, and that's, our topic is down ballot, right? It's Biden is going to damage everybody else running in the Democrat Party if he stays at the top, because fewer Democrats will be motivated to even come out and vote. It's because of Biden. He will depress the Democrat turnout, and so the Congress will pick up more Republican seats. Senate will flip to the Republicans, and that's the big fear. But here's the big question mark. I don't know if you heard about this. Like, what if they only flip? Like, everybody's saying, well, all the battleground states are leaning Trump, and these are 11 electors here and 12 electors there and 15 there and 6 here. Those battleground states are the ones that are going to tip it into the Republican direction. But what if they take Texas, right? Like, it won't matter as much as the battlegrounds if one of the deep red, for example, what if they flip somehow Texas? Did you hear about this camp of 1 million illegals?
Yeah, I was going to say you're leaning into the fact of the votes from the illegals that are more than likely going to be, and it's going to be very hard to prove actual issue. And the thing is, it's like this is where what if? I guess we're going to find out. There is a possibility that can happen, because that's a lot of illegals are in Texas right now, and a lot of illegals are wanting the free stuff. They understand the grift. They know to vote for Biden. They know to vote for all the Democrat delegate people and stuff like that. So the problem is when they turn this country into their country, it's just too late by that point. There's no voting your way out of it, because a lot of the times whenever these people become powerful, whenever the 2020 election happened, there was like no way. There's no way that the vice president's going to send the votes back, and then as soon as they get their power in play, they're like, well, we're going to make it a law where the vice president can't send the votes back. And then immediately, do you remember whenever Nancy Pelosi tried to federalize our elections to take the state's power away from it? Right after that as well, it didn't go through. God, thank God. But but immediately they knew that there was an issue, so they wanted to federalize these elections so that nobody could do anything about it. It'd be just a Venezuela 2.0. I'm going to put my faith in the RNC with the ability for them to have decent lawyers there ready to head off. I think that this is already something they accounted for, because if we're talking about it, there's a good chance that people like Scott Pressler that are actually working for the RNC now that should have been there back in 2020, 2018, 2016. Back in the day, this is a thing. So, I think that we're definitely going to be treading that. We don't need to get put on big britches and say we got this red wave like we did in 2022. That was a big. I think that even in 2022, there was polls that were put out that weren't accurate for a reason to do this. I think that they actually, instead of doing as much election effort as they did, they actually did an effort with a lot of the polls from mainstream media to give conservatives a false sense of security. And then when this all went down, it gave a lot of talking points for the other side to make fun of us. And that was a demoralization campaign. So we need to like, if we're ahead of if you're racing somebody in a vehicle and you're ahead of them, the last thing you want to do is let off the gas because you think you've won the race. You need to push the nitrous button and mash it through the dashboard and make sure that you stay on the gas pedal and don't look back.
Don't look back.
Don't let take the rearview mirror off and throw it in the floorboard, because what's behind you, you do not have any concern over. You need to make sure you're in the front, and that is our main goal. And can we overcome it? I say we're going to work really hard and not give up. That's basically my response to that.
Yeah. So just to finish up on this particular thought about them taking Texas, and I agree 100%, Carrie, that it will be such an anomaly, right, that everybody will know. But their gamble is, if it's desperation, right? It's desperation. All of this stuff is now being done in the open, right? The things that they had to do in secrecy in 2020 are now being done in the open because it's desperation. Like, rejecting legislation that requires citizenship to vote. Like, that's some of the founding principles of our nation are citizenship is a privilege and a right. Right. Voting is a privilege and a right reserved for citizens. Right. And them to resist that openly, it's desperation. But I don't want to go on too many tangents, but I am with you and in agreeing that more and more people have woken up, especially people like the Attorney General from Missouri. It's like you have high power people paying close attention to the election systems. There's more cases in courts that are going to prevent a lot of. There's always people bending and breaking rules, but I think, again, optimistically, that it's going to be extremely difficult for enough of that corruption to turn things around.
So. What gets me is good for Idaho. Idaho right now is under scrutiny because of the globalists that are controlling the water down there. They're under a lot of scrutiny with how much water they can use. And I don't know who messes with my microphone settings, but anyways, now we might be able to hear. It's a hot. Okay, so I'll try. Okay, so anyways, Governor Little in Idaho, the first state to take executive action for only citizens will vote. Why hasn't Greg Abbott started this thing here? You think, being the fact that he understands he's a border state and there are a lot of illegals that have came across there to make residents and also possibly flip this state, this should be a priority one. I like to say that there are good points to Abbott, but I've seen his participation in World Economic Forum activities. They like to say, well, Trump was too, but Trump went there to tell him that he was going to stick it up their tailpipe. And that was pretty much it. And he left out of there and dropped the mic. But we've seen multiple instances where Greg Abbott's made appearances and spoke and been tapped on the shoulder by Klaus Schwab and all this stuff. And you know this as well. So that's very alarming to know that Idaho, the first state to take executive action for only citizens will vote. Why is not Texas following suit? That is so. I mean, I don't want to black pill people and get people worried because they're like you mentioned a great point about Texas flipping blue because of all the illegals living there. Why is not Abbott saying it? It's kind of weird. It's kind of strange.
Also, these people's lives are really busy, so there's stuff going on that we don't know about, and there are enough very patriotic legislators in Texas that I would imagine they're on top of it as well. But we'll see.
Yeah. Shannon, if you're watching this, get out there and call Abbott. Give him a call down there. Dave, I think that's probably a good idea to start getting on the horn and maybe making that way. Even if you don't live in that state, it's probably not a bad idea to call and say, look, I don't live there, but I just kind of wondered about, I've seen Idaho's taking the legislative action to make sure only citizens vote there. How about y'all maybe picking up the torch and doing something similar? I mean, you are kind of a border state. Places like New Mexico, there's another place that could make possibly something good happen. Definitely not California. California is welcoming these people in because they want this. What's bad is like California could take in a bunch of illegals, and the fact it would be that it would probably improve because the conditions in a lot of the places in California with the homelessness that are being paid to come there and live, to migrate there and live, like Americans are migrating to California because they get paid to be homeless. They get a free tent. They get a ton of money. They get cell phones. They get Wi-Fi. They get everything they need. They get a free methadone clinic to go to. Why wouldn't you want to go live there? I mean, they got the nicest bridges and tunnels you can live in too, by the way. I've seen these videos where they fix them up real nice. They paint the ceilings with graffiti and they have they got little special holders for the hypodermic needles and all. It's like, wow. But, illegals will move in and they don't really do that. They just there. They'll actually spruce the place up a little bit, It's going to be kind of interesting.
I got a question for you. So by the next time we have this, by the next time it's the two of us here on Wednesday, we will know who Trump's vice VP is. All right. We'll know who the VP is. And I think I know who it is. I think I know who it's going to be. You have
so it's not going to be his son because he's too young. You have to be a certain age. There's that being thrown around out there, but it's not going to be him. It's just, I hate it when our side makes those weird speculations because then it's just silly to even say that because I've seen that popping up on Twitter. It's not going to be Barron, but he's going to be there. He's going to be there with his daddy. That's what we say around here. These parts are good, daddy. Oh, my daddy. But it's good. I would have to say, in my strongest opinion, I've been saying this probably, you've probably known this for the past year or so. I think it's going to be Ben Carson.
Dude, I thought you were going to say somebody else, but that's who I think it's going to be as well. Yeah. I was going to say Ben Carson. I think I agree. I've thought a lot about it. I'm like, Vivek would be amazing, but I think Ben Carson.
Yeah.
Why do you think Ben Carson?
Because he is a true patriot and he's a Mike Pence to Trump. He's sort of quiet, reserved, but he's a true patriot. Trump and him go way back at 2016. Before that, actually, because Trump has worked with Ben Carson on several projects as well, dealing with the black colleges and different things like that. And which the mainstream media will never report on how Trump actually benefited the black colleges when he became president, because Obama made all the black colleges jump through fiery hoops to try to get government funding. And the reason why he done that is because he wanted allies. He wanted people in his hip to promote his messages and everything. So you had to do what Obama said. And Trump says, I got you. Executive order signed where they get funding, no problem. I want these people to do good. I want minorities to come up. I want everybody to have a fair shake. And so here you go. And actually made it unfair by giving them advantages, but he did do that. He made it where there wasn't a thing. And so, and if you look, they're back whenever Trump was campaigning. Ben Carson, the famous video of him not knowing his name was called, Trump waiting for him to let, he's like, go on out there, dude. They called your name, and making sure that he didn't make, they go way back. And Ben Carson is, like I say, Trump doesn't need another person like Trump. He needs somebody that's going to be strong and not fold, but he needs somebody in the back that's kind of level-headed so that they, and plus, I mean, trust me, I hate to even go into this manner, but the race card gets pulled all the time. This would help a lot. It really would. I mean, it's sad that we have to do that, but that's not why Trump is doing that. But there is a beneficiary to that. And so that will, I mean, Trump's not a racist person anyway, so it's second nature for him to do this. Just because actually Ben Carson is qualified, he has the qualifications.
Bingo,
not
on the nose.
He has great policy. He understands he knows a lot about. See, we're going to head into a time too with medical tyranny, and Ben Carson is well versed on this whole subject, and he can go into deep dives about this, so he won't be fooled so easily. He'd be a great advisor for Trump in the future of this medical tyranny that we're headed into. And so there's so many aspects of what I see that's positive. This is why I've always been, if you ever talked to me before, listen to any of my other streams, I've always said it's probably going to be Ben Carson, and that's who I'd like as well.
Yeah. So what it will demonstrate, well, a number of things that you've already mentioned is it emphasizes merit, right? Merit, not just because of a person's skin color. That's incidental. He happens to be one of the most accomplished men, period. One of the most accomplished humans, period. Oh, by the way, he also has a darker melanin tone. But what it also demonstrates is a person's demeanor is not what makes a good president. It's a person's beliefs. It's a person's knowledge and understanding and ability to navigate very complex, extremely complex scenarios. When you are the head of a state like the United States of America, you can't fake it. You can't, just flip a coin on important decisions. You have to have the intellectual rigor to be able to decipher multiple streams of information coming at you and process them. Ben Carson is the kind of guy who thinks first and then acts, right? He's not reactionary. And I think it's beautiful that he would be set up to become president because he would it would be such a it would take the wind out of everyone's sails that this guy who's so soft-spoken is just as hard-nosed as Trump in the policy recommendations, right? Everybody's demonizing Trump because of his personality, and then when we get to Ben Carson, it's literally as opposite a personality as you can get, but identical policy procedure. Right. It's like it will wake people up and show them. It's like, nope, it's not about the personality. It's about the character of the man.
You can look into Ben Carson. He has zero ties to weird organizations such as the ones that Pence and other politicians have. He's his own man. He's been his own man ever since I could remember. Nobody's ever come up with there's been a lot of people that's looked into Ben Carson, and nobody's come up with any weird mess. None of the Koch brothers.
Do you know what state he's from?
No, I don't. I can't remember. I don't know. That's terrible that I don't know. But I had a question come out from Carrie. Have I seen she still thinks Flynn, and have I seen a movie about Flynn? No, I haven't. But if you want my honest opinion, what Flynn's role is going to play, he's either going to be an advisor to Trump's cabinet, or he's going to be involved in a three-letter agency, either CIA or FBI, to get some of these people back in the spectrum of usability. Because if you
Attorney General, maybe.
Yeah, something along the lines, because you've really got to have that aspect of things tied up as a fair person. The good thing about independent content creators, we've been out long enough. A lot of people have been watching us. So the media's job is to sell the idea that we're under a dictatorship whenever you see people starting to be arrested. There's enough people out there now understand who's done what to the country, who's done the bad. So whenever the policy starts to lay down, we actually start to see some real arrests happen, and the media is going to go out and attack all of the actual lawful behavior that's going on, like Clarence Thomas. It's not working. Used to, you could attack Clarence Thomas and everybody like, yeah, F that Clarence Thomas. Now everybody's like, no, you guys are telling us a lie. We understand. There's enough of us that have seen what's really going on with mainstream media and what's really going on with the downfall of America, that they actually, the gaslighting on Clarence Thomas isn't working anymore. And when they finally when they say, wow, they went after Merrick Garland, this is a terrible dictatorship. Can you believe they're arresting a former attorney general or chief justice and all this crazy stuff, DOJ? Everybody's like, Yeah, we can actually. And I'll tell you what, it'd be nice if y'all would just sit down and actually report it like it's supposed to be reported. They'd be like Snikes. And then Jory Reid would have to go get a whole new wig altogether. It'd be just weird. I mean, but a good weird. I'm down with that. Yeah, and everybody else is too, and all the people who would go against that grain are just communists, and we would understand where they stand, and we would just let them go live on a stupid island. That would break LA off finally, let them to live over there like in that movie where Escape from LA would be. Kurt Russell would be there and everything hanging out. Actually, it'd be, what's his name, for the Rust guy, Alec Baldwin would be, instead of Kurt Russell, it'd be Alec Baldwin on that island, like shooting people.
Well, I'm staying in California for as long as I can, so... All right, time is up. Time is up.
Yeah, we got to jump out of here, guys. I want to thank everybody for being here. It's been a great stream.
Good to see you, my friend. And next time we'll know who the VP pick is. We'll reflect back and see if we were right or wrong.
If we're wrong, we're wrong. We had great ideas,
yeah.
But I hope that we're somewhere within that genre.
Yeah.
You had to see my video. That's funny to me. Anyway, it's an inside joke. But all right, so we're gonna get out of here. Thank you very much, Lucas and Jacqueline and Mark and Carrie and Jacqueline again and all the wonderful people. Lucas, Diego, got up. Or how do you say that?
Ara. His first name is Ara. So.
Oh, okay. Well, so we didn't see Mike. We didn't have Speaker Mike Johnson in there today, so I'm a little disappointed. Jackal, thank you for being here. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you guys. Peace out. Lots of love. Big hugs.